I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 tier cake.
Okay.
Something just like maybe off-white. The texture of that one?
I think I like the texture of that one.
The colors?
Being engaged and planning our wedding, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. I guess instead
Something
of just
similar.
all smooth,
Yeah.
have it a little.
Have a little bit of a texture, like something like that.
There's a lot of decisions just to be made with the cake. So yeah, it was a little more than I had ever thought about.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, September 7th. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It was the first day of school for my son, so today has been a little bit like trying to get into the groove of getting back to school and waking up and going straight in the morning. So if any of you are trying to like get through that like first day of school and then having him not here, like, Okay, I'm a mama bear and I love to be with my little baby. So anyways, it was his first day of 3rd grade. Yay, school. To all the teachers out there, welcome back to school. You all do amazing jobs. And the teachers' aides and everyone that works at schools. Thank you for your work with children. Some children that we talk about a lot are the Duggars. Well, the adult children for the most part. Last week we did a video about Joanna and some comments that she had made on her social media that had some people really worried about her because they felt like she was overwhelmed, sad, not feeling good, and she admitted to crying to her husband. And then she shared some comments and something that her husband told her to help remind herself just that everything was fine, that she could just show up every day. She didn't have to be the perfect mother, and she said that it helped her on her toughest days. When Joy is not getting positive comments and uplifting support on her social media, she's also frequently getting criticized, like completely analyzed, and people can at times be downright nitpicky and sometimes even cruel. And I, for the most part, try to stay very even here. I don't want to bring up stuff that's not relevant. I try to be whatever, you know, I don't want to be super nitpicky, and I certainly don't like to mom shame. And I saw this article on The Sun, and it was like this disturbing, shocking family outing that Joy and her husband Austin had, and it involved hiking and something that he was wearing while he was hiking. First off, there was nothing shocking or disturbing in this photograph to me, and I'm not surprised nor shocked or disturbed by the photograph. That was sort of the comments that I saw and some of the feedback I saw in the comments. So that's where we're going with this video. But let's talk about what was said and why people were upset. Joy's pictures were simple enough. She said, "A 4-mile hike in the National Forest this evening with friends. I might be sore tomorrow, but the views today were worth it. Gideon loved riding in the backpack for most of the way." So Austin was carrying Gideon in a normal backpack, not a backpack to carry kids. Definitely not the most ideal way to carry a kid, but definitely like if you make a decision to go hiking and you're trying to do like the bare bones basics of do DIY kind of ways to keep your kids happy so that they can still go hiking and you don't have to worry about them complaining the whole time. I can definitely see Dad making a impromptu move. And Gideon looks like he was fine. His feet didn't get to sit out. Like Austin literally placed him inside of the backpack. That wasn't the part. I mean, people made comments about that, but then another photograph that they showed of her and him were the three of them at like a peak, and they were on a cliff, and Gideon is sort of standing next to Austin, and Joy is on the other side of Austin, and people just noticed that he was carrying a pistol, and it was on his abdomen, and he was wasn't concealed, wasn't at all just normal pistol on his in a holster on his stomach. And that upset some people. So over on Reddit, which is a snark board, by the way, so people have this ability and they have this, you know, they're just a little bit more snarky, a little bit more critical, no shade at all. Like, they can do what they want on their page. And apparently there was comments in there that the Sun found where it was a board titled Austin's gun just right there. Okay. And the board, one said, he's got to make sure any men passing by know that he will hurt them if they look at her. And then someone said, why did he take a gun hiking? What was he expecting to see on the hike? Someone said, remind me why one needs a pistol on a effing camping trip. And he looks like a hitchhiker about to take someone hostage. And someone else said that he's starting to look like David from Teen Mom. Ew. Okay. So over on Reddit, they're critical. I noticed some people in her comments made some stuff like, oh, he has a gun. And I'm going to be honest, they are in the Ozarks, which is the Ozarks National Forest. And I don't know if you know anything about Arkansas and the Ozarks, but there are bears, there are cougars, there are panthers, there are rattlesnakes, there are lots of different wildlife that are dangerous. And wild pigs are another thing. And when you're out on a hike in the National Forest, it does not matter if you're in a highly populated area where there's going to be a lot of foot traffic. Some animals don't give a flying F. And if you come across a wild animal while you're on a trail, sometimes having protection isn't a bad thing. Some hikers will carry pepper spray or bear spray, but a lot of people, when they're out hiking in some trails, especially in rural areas of Arkansas where there are notable predators in this area, will bring guns. So when I saw it, I was like, dude, he's hiking, he's in a national park, he has wildlife all around him. Austin is not the kind of guy that's gonna like not have a gun. Why are people even shocked by this? So then I went over to the gun laws in the state of Arkansas. It is an open carry state, and you can carry as long as it's visible. You can have a special concealed carry permit if you want to conceal it, but he was openly carrying, so nothing illegal there. They also have a stand your ground law, and he is allowed to carry in state and national parks as long as he doesn't go into any of the federal buildings. But to carry while he's on a hiking trail or like camping is not illegal, and it's not illegal actually in any national park. It's state by state in terms of what they require, but most states allow it. So Arkansas has nothing prohibiting him from bringing it into the park, nor does a national park prohibit him from bringing it into the park. So Austin wasn't breaking any laws doing this. He could have, if he does run into some wildlife, use the gun. Other people will say that no, he just needs to learn how to interact with the wildlife. If you've seen what can happen with wildlife, it doesn't matter if you interact. Sometimes interacting and doing everything right can still end up with you getting hurt or worse in the wild. So I shared this on my page, and I just said this. Joanna shared a series of photos on Instagram a few days ago. This photo is has some in the comments a little upset. I said the hills in Arkansas are filled with bears, panthers, cougars, and other deadly wildlife. A gun may be taken on a hike is not unusual, especially in this area. And I said, I'm not personally shocked, nor do I think this is unreasonable. What do you think? And I was pretty impressed because, like, in my comments, not many people, I was pretty shocked. I thought it would be like a mixed bag. I know that, you know, when someone sees a weapon, they will automatically have a visceral reaction. But in this situation, most people agreed and said he's protecting his family. Who cares? Makes sense under these circumstances. I open carry when I hike with my dogs and children, and I'm not sure why people are upset, but he's prepared to protect his family And he says, we carry, when we go out in the woods, we have a lot of poisonous snakes. Someone says, I think it's wise. If I'm on a hike and a bear rushes me, I would be thankful for someone carrying a gun. Someone said, this is exactly when I would expect someone to carry a firearm. When you have a family to protect in the wilderness, it's responsible, and hopefully he is setting the expectation for firearm safety for his kids. And before anyone comes for me, I'm a liberal who lives in Northern California, and I have also carried a gun into the wilderness when I have my kids with me. Wild animals kill, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. People need to stop picking on the Duggars for every little thing. Save it for when they deserve it. Someone said, I live in Arizona and just got back from a trip up north where there are bears and other wild animals, and we were also armed. Strangely enough, a man tried to force himself into our rented vehicle at a gas station on Route 66 to give us hugs. Our doors were locked, and what he couldn't see below the windows was that we were all prepared for his attack. We were able to scare him away and tell him to move away from our vehicle. See, not always bad to have something. Someone said, I'm not a big fan of firearms, but know they're necessary in certain situations. This is not worthy of people being shocked. He's making sure his family is protected while hiking in areas of heavy wildlife that could cause a happy hike to turn dangerous. Someone says, bears aren't the only worry. In Northwest Arkansas, we have rattlesnakes, copperheads, bobcats, rabid skunks. I'm not kidding. It's been a problem in Northwest Arkansas many times. Coyotes, wild boars, they're very mean, and the list goes on and on. Arkansas is an open carry state, so it's not uncommon to see people hiking with guns. I'd rather they have a gun than try to run from a boar. Someone said, I live in British Columbia, and I promise we have more bears and dangerous wildlife here. Hiking is incredibly common here. It is not legal to carry guns openly in Canada, and hikers are rarely viciously attacked by animals or have any need to use a gun. Educating the public about safety around wildlife is far more safe than packing a gun with children. This is common sense. She said, the American attitude that guns solve problems and are necessary is just bizarre to pretty much everyone else in the world. So pretty much most people agreed with me. Obviously, I'm also a liberal, but I'm not against the Second Amendment. And in this situation, do what you need to protect your family. So I think this is fine. He had it opened. He has an open carry. It's holstered. I'm sure it's locked. You know, there's no reason to believe that he's not being smart on this hike with that firearm. And as long as he's using it and showing and demonstrating like proper safety for his children, I have no problems with this. I also think, again, that some people are just so hard on everything the Duggars do that not everything is worthy of nitpicking. So in this case, I'm bringing it here to just say to you guys, like, I'm not a big fan of like this sort of nitpicky stuff, but I will say I understand why people get upset when they see these weapons, but he did nothing wrong. So let's extend a little grace sometimes and not always be so hard on Joy. Joy has just come back to social media and everyone is like clamoring on her. Like, y'all need to just like chill out a little bit. Just a little bit. That's just my opinion. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below.